Happy Monday, folks, and welcome back to WrestleRant Ranks, where I, Graham Giason Matthews, every single week do tier lists, ranking, quizzes. And with this month, July of 2025, marking 19 years since CM Punk made his first, significant on-screen appearance in WWE. I know he technically debuted prior to that point, but as CM Punk on WWE television, it was on the July 4th edition of WWE ECW that he premiered in a vignette. So in honor of that, I came across this tier list on tierlistmaker.com. Just mere days ago, it was put together by an individual named Monk, not to be confused with Tony Shalhoub's Monk, which would have been fucking awesome if it was him, but still thank you to Monk nonetheless for putting this together. I thought it would be only fitting for today's installment to rank the best and worst years every year that CM Punk has spent in WWE and AEW. Now, as you probably notice here from the list, it goes from 2006 through 2025. Obviously, not all 19 years are not included because why would they be? He left WWE in 2014, didn't debut in AEW until 2021. So there is 2015 through 2020 missing. They are not ranking his UFC career. They're not ranking his Ring of Honor career, his time on the Indies, which I can't really accurately, rank anyway. He only had 2 fights in UFC, and the Ring of Honor stuff, I've seen a bit of it, but not all of it. So honestly, this is the stuff that I'm most in tune with and have followed the most between his time in WWE and AEW that I can offer the most expertise on, in my opinion, as far as where we can rank the best and worst years of CM Punk's past 19 years in both companies. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And listen, I'm a diehard Punk fan, admittedly, but I'll try to be as brutally honest as possible here in ranking each of these years of his career. The best and the worst, like I said. So thank you guys, as always, for checking out these videos every single week here on the channel. Thank you again to Monk for putting this together. I'll include the link to this tier list from tierlistmaker.com in the description box down below if you want to fill it out for yourself. Also in the description box, if you want to check out more information on how to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass channel member to get videos like this early and ad-free, you can click on that link for that and many more perks. It's only $5 a month. But at the very least, if you want to support the channel, support the show, support me, you can like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to be notified every single time we upload new content and every single time we go live here on the channel. And all the other installments of WrestleRant Ranks are available down below in said description box. So let's get right into it here, starting with 2006 for CM Punk, debuting, like I said, on that July 4th, 2006 episode of ECW via a vignette. Really didn't do a whole lot that year. Like, he was popular off the bat in ECW, had a few fine first feuds on the brand. He was involved in the December to Dismember main event for the ECW Championship, was quickly eliminated, of course, despite being originally rumored to win the whole thing. And that's been outright confirmed by Paul Heyman because he wanted Punk to win the whole thing and then he didn't. I would probably put this at C because compared to all the other years that we're going to get to, I would probably put this higher normally, but comparatively, just, when next to these other years that he'd spent in the company and in AEW, it wasn't as great. So I'll probably put it at the C category, might even be B, but for now I'll put it in C. We'll change the list as we go along here. 2007, because you also have more of a sample size for 2007. Some of these years he was like hurt for half of it, gone for most of it. 2006, he was only in WWE for literally the entire second half of 2006. And it was fine, but he was only ever slotted at a certain level. 2007 was a lot kinder to Punk. He spent a good chunk of time as the ECW champion, having won that title from Johnny Nitro, a.k.a. John Morrison, in September of that year, chasing the championship up to that point, losing to Nitro on a whole bunch of occasions in the months preceding that title win. He also wrestled his first WrestleMania match in the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 23. He was quickly becoming the face of the WWE ECW brand. And like I said, was gradually getting over, had a lot of success. I'll probably put this in the B category because he did finally win the ECW championship in a great moment and a good match. And then he was slotted as the face of that brand for the remainder of the year from September through December before losing that championship in January of 2008. So might move it to C, again, compared to some of these other years that he had in both companies, but for now we'll put it in B. 2008 was when I started watching wrestling, so I'm very much biased towards this pick, and specifically for Punk as well, because one of my fondest memories in my early months in my first year as a wrestling fan was him cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase and becoming World Heavyweight Champion. Now, I'm not going to sit here with rose-colored glasses on and tell you that that reign was great. It really wasn't. His time as Mr. Money in the Bank was cool. He flirted with the main event scene on SmackDown, was still doing his thing on ECW, having matches with Kane and Chavo Guerrero, among other people. But his actual run as World Heavyweight Champion left a lot to be desired. He was never the focal point on the show. Did have a few successful title defenses against JBL, Kane, a few matches on Raw, but then he lost the championship without ever actually defending it. He got kicked in the head by Randy Orton at Unforgiven, and then essentially just relinquished the championship. And the scramble match would determine a new World Heavyweight Champion. And it wasn't as if he was hurt either. He was very much back like soon after on Raw. That was only ever a storyline thing. And he was made to look like a loser for a long time after that. Now, I'll get to 2009 in a little bit. 2008 was a bit of a mixed bag because, again, he was the ECW champion for like only the first few weeks of the year. Didn't do a whole lot after that. But he did win the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. Cashed it in successfully when a lot of people probably thought he would lose. Became World Heavyweight Champion. Held that belt for about 2 months, a little over 2 months. And then didn't do a whole lot. I mean, actually, that's not true. I was going to say didn't do a whole lot for the rest of the year. He did close out the year by winning the World Tag Team titles with Kofi Kingston. So I'm going to put this, it might be A. For now, I'll put it top B because that world title run just was not great. I think his 2009 was a lot better because in 2009, which we'll get to now, he turned heel that year, which was the best thing that could have ever happened for his character. I was not watching his Ring of Honor stuff at that point. I was not really even aware of it. But people who were knew how great of a heel he could be. WWE finally took a chance on him as a heel, and he became the best bad guy in the entire company. Aside from, like, you hear the memes, 2009 Randy Orton. 2009 CM Punk was also equally a savage. He was the SmackDown equivalent of Randy Orton over on Raw. But he had a great year in 2009. He was the World Heavyweight Champion twice. Neither of his reigns were overly long, but he had those great matches with Jeff Hardy, won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and really became a main event player, like not in the same sense that he would in 2011, but he really was elevated up the card in 2009. So for me, this is an A for the Jeff Hardy feud alone. 2 much better world title reigns where he really felt like the focal point on SmackDown compared to when he was world champion on Raw in 2008. Won the briefcase for a second time. Formed the Straight Edge Society in the final few months of 2009. That quickly went downhill in 2010, which I'll get to. But, the initial initiation of this Straight Edge Society with Luke Gallows joining his side was great. Didn't do a whole lot, like he was kind of directionless in the final few months of the year, but I thought 2009 overall was a real great turning point for CM Punk in WWE. 2010 was really kind of where it went awry for him, and honestly, had it not been for the pipe bomb and the success that kind of stemmed from that, he probably would have left in 2011. Like, it was very clear in 2010, if you watch his documentary, and even if you don't, it was very clear watching his work that he was frustrated. He lost a lot of matches in 2010. He was still doing great work as a heel. I became a CM Punk fan, like, through and through in 2010. I didn't, like, overly love him as a heel in 2009, although he was a great heel in retrospect. Didn't even love him in 2008 as a babyface. But in 2010, like, the snarky CM Punk on the promos when he was feuding with Big Show and stuff, that was really where I became a big fan of his work. He had those great matches with Rey Mysterio at Extreme Rules, Over the Limit especially, WrestleMania as well. But he would really ever lose whenever it mattered most. He lost at Mania, lost the Chamber, lost at the Royal Rumble, would cut promos in the middle of all these matches, and it was entertaining. But it was kind of a nothing year. Honestly, 2010 was very much a throwaway year for CM Punk. He lost a lot of his matches, if not every single one, because I know he won at Extreme Rules. But he lost at Rumble, Chamber, Mania, Over the Limit, Fatal 4-Way. I think he was involved in the World Heavyweight Championship match. I don't even know if he was at Money in the Bank. I don't remember. I know he might have been in Money in the Bank in 2010. I don't remember. He probably was. But at SummerSlam, he lost the Big Show. He lost the Big Show again at Night of Champions. He just lost a whole lot of matches, and it just was not great. So honestly, I think that was a D. 2010 is probably the worst year that he had in either company. Although he did do some great character work, it was kind of a throwaway year in his career. 2011, what more can we really even say? 2011 to me was peak CM Punk. And the entire year was not great. Obviously, they fumbled that Summer of Punk by having him lose to Triple H in Night of Champions. He got pinned at Hell in a Cell in that triple threat Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship by Del Rio. He lost the championship to Del Rio right before that at SummerSlam, got pinned in a fucking tag team match at Vengeance. He was doing a lot of losing in the fall of 2011. A lot of people forget that. But he did get back on track at the end of the year by becoming WWE Champion for a second time at Survivor Series. Great match with Del Rio, that kicking off the historic 434-day run as WWE Champion. Great triple threat match to close the year at TLC with him and Miz and Del Rio. But really what puts this year on the map for him was the initial month or two of Summer of Punk. From June through August, that was the peak period for CM Punk in his entire career. We're including AEW, his entire WWE run, Ring of Honor. That was the hottest he ever was, and he remained hot after that, but not quite to that level. He really broke through to that upper echelon of like iconic competitors with that pipe bomb promo and that greatest of all time match with John Cena in Chicago at Money in the Bank 2011. In the first 6 months of the year were kind of a wash as well, a lot like 2010. Although, like in 2010, he also had some very good matches to open the year on Raw with John Cena, which a lot of people forget about. But he also had that very fun feud, what I thought was a fun feud, with Randy Orton. Lost to him at every turn, lost to him on Raw, lost to him at WrestleMania, lost to him at Extreme Rules, but the matches were great every single time. And the new Nexus stuff was also a complete fucking waste of time. That really amounted to nothing. But 2011 overall has got to be the S tier, if only for the Summer of Punk. 2012, he spent the entire calendar year as WWE Champion. Now, I'm going to put this over 2009 because he did spend the entire year as WWE Champion with that 434-day run. Now, the first 6 months, he was never the focal point of the company or even of his own show on Raw. That was really why it's not in the S tier for me, because he took a back seat to John Laurinaitis of all fucking people, John Cena, everything else going on Raw in 2012. CM Punk was 1B. John Cena was 1A. But even still, he had a great year and some great matches with Chris Jericho. Good match at the Rumble with Dolph Ziggler over the WWE Championship. Retained the title inside the Elimination Chamber. That great series of matches that summer with Daniel Bryan, the whole storyline with AJ Lee, then turning heel, a great heel turn that created some more matches between him and John Cena heading into the fall. The whole stuff with Ryback was surprisingly enjoyable, actually elevated Ryback to a new level that he was not at before, although he lost all those matches, did Ryback, but that's another story. I still think 2012 was an overall great year for CM Punk, having won the championship in late 2011 and held it all year, and he had a great run as champion. So 2013, he started the year as WWE Champion, of course, dropped the belt immediately to The Rock at the Royal Rumble, failed to get it back from The Rock at Elimination Chamber, had that amazing match, the one real saving grace of WrestleMania 29 against The Undertaker, the streak match, and he was never going to win that match, but the match was awesome. He lost every big match he really had in 2013. Not only those matches, but like he disappeared for a while, came back, beat Jericho at Payback, but then lost to Money in the Bank. Had that amazing match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, lost that too. Lost to fucking Paul Heyman and I think Curtis Axel, of all people, in a handicap match at Night of Champions the following month. Now, he did finally win a few matches after that. He beat Ryback at Battleground. He beat Ryback again at Hell in a Cell, I think it was. Won a tag team match at Survivor Series against the Wyatt family alongside Daniel Bryan. Beat the Shield at TLC. So he picked up again in the final few months of 2013 from a storyline standpoint. He wasn't the same CM Punk. He was back to being beloved as a babyface. But he was kind of, again, that notch below where he probably should have been. And had some amazing kick-ass matches in 2013. But you could tell, again, he was unhappy. So I would probably go high B with this one because he really had a lot of losses, but he kicked ass. Like, he lost probably more that year than he did in 2008, but he had some amazing matches. Like, the matches with The Rock were enjoyable. The Taker match was great. The Brock match is one of my favorites. The Shield handicap match is an underrated gem from TLC, among all the other stuff he did on Raw that year as well. The feud with Heyman was good. So that's a high B for me. 2014, obviously, he was barely around. This was easily the worst year of his career, only having had a few matches on Raw and probably on SmackDown in the first few weeks of the year. Wrestling in the Rumble, getting eliminated unceremoniously by Kane, and then quitting the company the next night, walking out and then having not been seen again in wrestling for another 7.5 years. And he looked like shit, too. Like, he was sick at this point. His showing in the Rumble wasn't, like, egregiously awful. You wouldn't watch that. Like, had you not known, you probably would not have watched that because I didn't, among other people didn't. And they were thinking, he's totally fine. He's not the CM Punk of old, but he's not like on his deathbed. But apparently he was, according to what he said on the Colt Cabana podcast later that year. So easily the worst year of his career, but there really isn't much to judge off of there because he left in the first month of the year and never ended up having that WrestleMania match with Triple H. 2021 is a lot like CM Punk of 2011, in my opinion, in which he came back to wrestling. I was going to say the company. That's not true. He came back to wrestling in 2021. A lot of buzz around that return. Still one of the greatest wrestling returns of all time. In AEW this time, not in WWE. And it just had a different vibe to it. The promos he was cutting was refreshing. That awesome match with Eddie Kingston at Full Gear. Had a lot of great television matches. He teamed up with Sting at one point on Dynamite in 2021. The first match back with Darby Allin was cool. He had a lot of great moments and matches in being back in wrestling in 2021. Gradually shaking off the ring rust, among other stuff. So really, really loved his return in 2021. And in the last couple of years, that was peak Punk. I've enjoyed his return run so far in WWE, but like the best Punk we've gotten since he's been back in wrestling, I would argue, was when he came back in 2021. Now, granted, this is only accounting for August through December, but that period was so great for AEW and for Punk's career as a whole. The shit he was doing and just having him back in general was just so much fun. And to see how much fun he was having at that point in his career before shit went south a year later was so cool to see as a fan. So for me, it doesn't quite top 2011, but it's pretty up there, honestly. Just everything about that return run, that Michael Jordan-esque return in AEW was really special in that final third of 2021. 2022 is a bit of a mixed bag because his first 5 months were very good. The MJF feud was fantastic. That actually closed out 2021, but it carried over into 2022 that they culminated it with in that dog collar match at Revolution in March. Those 3 months were amazing. And then the Adam Page feud happened, which was kind of all over the place. The match with Adam Page was not great. It was good, but it was pretty good. And then he got hurt. And then he was gone. Came back, lost the belt in that random-ass Dynamite match with Jon Moxley. The rematch at All Out was great. Got the belt back there, but immediately had to vacate it because he got hurt again, and he also got suspended for the rant that he cut at the fucking post-show press conference. And then he was gone for the rest of the year. So, I mean, that year did so much damage that, quite honestly, like, it's hard to... Like, that to me has got to be C. Probably more than 2006, because at least in 2022, he had those first 5 months of it being really great television. That MJF feud alone is one of the best feuds AEW has ever produced. So I can't go any lower than C. In 2006, he was just kind of there in ECW. But man, the damage that he did with that post-show press conference and like the 2 injuries, it was just... It's amazing like how night and day of a difference it was between the first half of the year for him and then the second half of the year. It really is astonishing. But it wasn't like his worst year. 2010, he just did nothing. 2014, he quit. 2022, at least, he was doing some great shit in the first few months of the year. And then it all went south very quickly. 2023 is also a weird one because he was gone for the first half of the year. He was out injured. He was suspended. He finally came back 9 months after disappearing. And he had the original world championship that he was never beaten for, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? He was only in AEW for like fucking 2 months before he quit and got fired again in 2023 for September. He was only around for legitimately like 2.5 months. But goddamn, man, the run that he was having on Collision, I stand by this. I mean, not even just him, but like the input that he had on that show and making it what it was and kind of diversifying the rosters in a certain respect made that show must-see that summer. I mean, Collision's still good, but like Collision that summer was must-see television. More so than Dynamite, more so than anything WWE was doing at that point, which was still good television. Collision was awesome, and I'm so glad I was able to attend a Collision taping during that period. I think maybe like the 4th or 5th Collision they did. It was in Hartford. Punk was there. Like, the shit he was doing on Collision that summer was honestly pretty fucking great. Like, he had a lot of good tag team matches. He faced Satoshi Kojima, I think, at Forbidden Door. He was also involved in the Owen Hart Cup. He had those great matches with Samoa Joe, those great matches with Ricky Starks. It was fun, and the promos were fun. He felt more edgy. Honestly, I'm going to go... It's hard to go A here because he was gone for the last... I mean, he also came back to WWE, to be fair, and that return was amazing. The first 6 months were nothing. They were just non-existent. Man, I don't know. I'd probably go high B here, because 2013, he had some kick-ass matches, too. I just really love that Collision run. I would probably go high B. I might change that and go low A. But 2024, he's had a great year so far. Or that's actually 2025. He has not had a great year so far in 2025. 2024, I would put above 2023. He was around for the entire year. Now, he was hurt, but he did maintain a presence on the show. He got hurt in the Rumble, of course, but that feud with Drew was awesome. That really carried WWE programming through most of 2024. Their Hell in a Cell match was fantastic. The War Games stuff was really cool. Closed out the year getting back involved in the feud with Seth Rollins, heading into their Netflix match earlier this year, which I'll get to. And the year's not over yet, so it's kind of hard to fully encapsulate 2025 for Punk, so that won't be entirely fair. But I guess you couldn't include 2006 either because he debuted in the second half of the year, so I guess that's basically the same thing. But anyway, 2024, he cut some great promos. It really felt like a return to form for Punk. He lost the SummerSlam match, but that was a good match. The strap match was better. I enjoyed that. And the Hell in a Cell match, which he also won, was even better than that. And he made a lot of appearances on Raw, cut a lot of great promos. I would put him not in S category there, but I would put it in the 09 category. It's definitely A tier. 2009, he turned heel, had the 2 runs as world champion. I'd actually probably go below 09 because he was hurt for most of 2024 from January through August. Now, he cut great promos in the meantime, but he wasn't as active. So I'll put 09 above 2024, but 2024 was an overall great year for Punk and also maintaining that popularity the entire way through. 2025, we're only 6 months in. It just turned July a week or two ago. So it is hard to describe. I've enjoyed the work he's done this year. Aside from like the basic Thugonomics promo, that shit was just terrible. It's been cool to see him back in the ring with Cena. I enjoyed their match at Night of Champions. The Triple Threat of Mania was excellent. An excellent match. But he's also lost a lot. Like, it really doesn't feel like we have the Punk that we had even last year or in years past. Like, promo-wise, he's not firing at all cylinders the same way that he was. Now, he's had some gems this year, but not as consistently as last year or, again, in years past. So, he beat Rollins in that great match, that first Raw on Netflix. Then he lost the Rumble, lost the Chamber, lost at Mania, lost the Money in the Bank qualifier, lost the tag team match at Saturday Night's Main Event, the one back in May, lost the steel cage match to Seth Rollins. I mean, the guy just keeps fucking losing. He lost to John Cena at Night of Champions. So he's got to be, like, this is a C year so far. I've enjoyed the work that he's done, but I feel like all the other years were so far better. I might even put it, I'll put it above 2022 because that second half of 2022 for him was just so fucking damning. Like, again, it was so damaging. It was so, I guess this is also very even too if you do it this way. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. So I didn't even do that on purpose, but I love when shit's even, so I'll probably keep it this way. It's more a matter if it was better than 2022, his year so far, or worse. I'm going to go above 2022 because 2022, he just fucking killed AEW's momentum for years with that self-sabotaging promo. Also killed his own stock for a long time too. Now, we did go back to WWE, seemingly unscathed, but a lot of damage was done to his perception, everything with that post-show promo, speech, rant, whatever you want to call it, diatribe. But his 2025 could be better. I hope I can move that to an upper category as the year progresses and we see what else he has in store for us in the second half of 2025. But from what we've seen so far in the year, I got to go top of C, just because he really has not won a whole lot of matches at all. He won the first match with Rollins, like I said. He won an Elimination Chamber qualifier with Sami Zayn. But like for those 2 wins, he's racked up maybe like 7 or 8 losses. Again, Rumble, Chamber, the cage match with Rollins, the Mania Triple Threat, the Saturday Night's Main Event Tag Team match, Money in the Bank qualifier, and match with John Cena. And there might have been other ones too, but those are the matches I can remember. That's 7 matches that he has lost, and he's not wrestling all that often. 2 wins, 7 losses. Not exactly a great year. And the quality of work is good. But if I have to put 2010 in the D category, 2025, he's had a good year so far. It could be a lot better. Also, check out my article for Bleacher Report describing that basically from last week. WWE's growing CM Punk problem. Check that out when you get a chance. But as we wrap up this list, one last quick recap here of one of my favorites of all time, so I got to be brutally honest, and maybe you guys disagree with my ranking, but let me know and fill out the list for yourself over at tierlistmaker.com. I'll include the link in the description box. Thank you to Monk for putting this together once again. But anyway, my list is as follows, from D to S, from worst to best. I did not intend to rhyme on purpose, but CM Punk's best and worst years in wrestling, from the worst to the best. Here it is, 2014, 2010, then the C category, 2006, 2022, 2025. B category, 2007, 2008, 2023, or 2013, excuse me, and then 2023. The A category, 2024, 2009, 2012. And then the S category is two best years in either company, not including Ring of Honor and that stuff. 2021 in AEW, his first year in AEW, and then 2011, largely for the summer of Punk, but he also had a great year in general, for the most part. So that is my list, ranking every year that that CM Punk spent in WWE and AEW so far. Thank you guys for checking out my list. I appreciate it. More installments available down below in the description box for WrestleRant Ranks. And like I said, in also said description box, you can get more information on how to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass channel member. $5 a month gets you videos like this early and ad-free, early access to before anyone else a few hours ahead of time. Among many other perks, including shout-outs at the beginning and end of every live stream that we do here on the channel. You also get badges and emojis and access to that sort of stuff in the live chats of said live streams and so much more. So check it out. More information on that down below. But at the very least, like this video and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Hit the bell button to be notified every single time we go live here on the channel and every single time we upload new content. Until next time, guys, have an awesome rest of your week. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.